On this episode of Clarity Digital Pod, I had the pleasure of reconnecting with an old friend, mentor, and one of the earliest pioneers of SEO, Benj Arriola. For those of us who've been around this industry for a while, Benj needs no introduction. He has spoken at countless conferences, worked with major agencies, and helped shape the way many of us think about search optimization. For me personally, Benj played a critical role when I was transitioning from being a developer to a full-time SEO back in the mid-2000s. We dove deep into how search has evolved, how AI is impacting the field, and what the future holds for both SEOs and the clients they serve. Let's get into it. All right, let's go. Hey, Benj, how you doing today?
It's all good.
Thank
Busy.
you. Oh, busy is good. Thank you for accepting my invite. For those that don't know you, most people in the SEO world should know you because you speak at so many different events and you're an OG. You're one of my mentors when I was getting to SEO, transitioning away from being a developer into SEO. We worked together in downtown San Diego at this agency, and I was handling the SEO tickets, and I was often asking you, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And that's where I fully transitioned. I think, what year was it? 2004 or 5? I forget what year it was, but
I would guess 2006.
it was 2006. Okay. Probably, yeah.
6 maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Up to that point, I had some really basic understanding of SEO, but I was more in a web developer part. I think you were you and a couple other people like Steve Wiedemann were one of the key peoples that helped me become an SEO expert. So I appreciate it. Welcome to my pod, but why don't you introduce yourself for our audience better? I'm sure you do better than I did.
All good. Benj Arriola, have been doing SEO since 2006. Before that, 2004, actually 1997, I was a designer developer. And before that, I was even a chemist. So a lot of amount of career changes. And then in the SEO world since 2006, been mostly in marketing agencies. There were a few times I went in-house. There was a short stint, more of a data analyst, doing data science stuff. But primarily, it's all SEO since 2006.
Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned in-house versus agency. I've been like, when I was in-house, and I've had a few in-house SEO jobs, I really did SEO 20% of the time. The rest of the time was like putting together reports and going to meetings and stuff like that. So I'm glad you brought it up. Cool. Thank you. So what's the state of union with SEO in your opinion, with all these things that are happening, AI transformations, Google AI mode, ChatGPT, Perplexity? What are your thoughts? And I know this is a loaded question, but what are your thoughts on where SEO is at today and where is it going?
Yeah. So there's different ways to look at this from the experience of the users and from the experience of the people doing the SEO work. And then from the user's perspective, I see that there is more and more people adopting the usage of the LLMs, from ChatGPT down to Perplexity, Gemini, Copilot, and everyone else. Probably most of the SEOs are already seeing this if you're monitoring the referrals properly in your web analytics, or you could see the increase of AI traffic, whether or not you're optimizing it already or not. Of course, if you're optimizing it for AI, you will probably perform better. But even though you're not, and you're just doing SEO practices, you're already seeing some of that traffic coming in. It's still small compared to the organic search traffic, at least in what we're observing with all the clients I'm handling. However, it is growing at a fast pace. So it may come a point where they meet each other. But the common observation among us in my team, myself, and probably even in the industry, that the queries that get most of the AI traffic, or I would say prompts or questions, are mostly related to very top of funnel type of questions, very early on in the stage of a buying cycle, or maybe no intent to buy at all, just ask for more information, how things work. And then the bottom of funnel is typically where SEO still comes into play. Whenever you're searching for anything in the AI world, the user tends to use a number of tools to arrive at where they want to go to. When they search or when they ask questions on an AI tool, and if ever it turns into some type of buying decision for a service or a product, it does not necessarily mean they're going to click within AI. They might go back to Google and search for a brand, search for a store. They might go to Maps to find a local store or a local service. They might just know where to go when they don't need to buy anything online. It all depends.
Yeah.
So, as AI is eating up some of the traffic or some of the traffic from SEO, and it might just be staying there. It might be staying, and then the next step is not continuous from the AI tool. The person might
Yeah.
jump into a platform to continue that experience or journey to another website.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself, both as an SEO expert, but also as an user. I go for walks in the morning, obviously not today because it's almost 100 degrees here in Irvine, but and often when I go for walks, I'm not texting, I'm conversing with Perplexity, ChatGPT. I'm trying to plan my day. And when I'm in a search mode, like I was looking for something for a home improvement and I didn't want to buy it from Home Depot, I was asking, it would give me the store name. But I don't necessarily click on it and go buy it. I just remember the brand, and then later when I'm ready, I'll go to Google, do a branded search, or I go straight to that platform if it's like an easy name to remember.
Yeah.
And I think you have that brings up a very important topic that we don't talk a lot in SEO community. We are so stuck in the old ways. We're trying to reverse engineer the algorithm because that's how Google groomed us over the years.
Yeah.
But now, so most people are trying to figure out how Perplexity ranks, how ChatGPT ranks, or whatever the right term is. And ranking is probably not the right term. But very few of us talk about KPIs. It's like, how does an AI search, how does it impact KPIs? Because it's not linear anymore. You don't just go on Google, search something, arrive to the website, buy. So what are some of the KPIs you think we should be tracking, obviously in addition to organic traffic, to map out success?
That is a good question. So I have different answers to this. I understand it's not linear, but I also look at it in a linear way and also the non-linear way. So when it's the linear way, it's pretty straightforward. But just looking at comparing it to organic search, there are metrics that you could get before a person clicks on a search result and metrics you get after. And the after is in Google Analytics or Adobe Analytics, whatever analytics you're using, because they clicked on it. And then the before in the search world, you have your rankings, you have your impressions, you have your clicks. You could pull it from Google Search Console and things like that. Now, in the AI world, in the AI platforms, you have the post-click after clicking. It also appears in your analytics. Not say AI tool, but you could either create your own filters or create your own channel, however you want to configure it to group them all together for all your AI traffic. But I envision the future, they will just have that as a channel in the future. But for now, you configure it on yourself.
Yeah.
Now, for the pre-click, none of them have the equivalent of Google Search Console. Yeah. So a lot of people out there are relying on other tools.
Like SEMrush who I think SEMrush has an integration with another AI tool. I don't know to be honest with you, I don't know where to get the data from. I question. But
SEMrush is one. Ahrefs has their own. And there's other vendors out there as big as Perplexity, which is a large vendor. And then they're as small as Noah Toho, which is a smaller vendor. There's many others. But if you're going to look at the logic, how they're doing it is it's almost like a ranking tool. I have a bunch of questions. I'll throw it to these, and then I'll see the results. I'll scrape it, and then I'll know if a company is visible or not.
Okay. I see. So that's how they do it. That makes sense.
Yeah, they're just submitting now.
That's not actually a real
you don't
user.
Know.
Because they don't have the API. They just basically that's what they think statistically.
And they don't even know if someone really searched for that or not. They're just a bunch of questions.
There's just a bunch of questions, and it's not prompt or conversations. Like I took some prompt engineering course this year on Coursera. My whole AI
experience changed.
Oh,
And
interesting.
and it's not questions, it's prompts, it's
Uh,
direction. And so I think, I don't know if, I think that's why I said I'm going to go back to my question, and I like, how do we measure that? How do
yeah,
we measure true visibility?
yeah.
It doesn't even matter anymore. Do we even need to measure it? I don't know.
In my opinion, I am not a strong, I don't make it a large requirement.
Mhm.
Really, and it might be controversial for others in the SEO world. Similarly, I don't stare too much at ranking reports in SEO as well. I
Yeah.
just look at overall average ranking, overall impressions, and I look at it in aggregate, and then I still pay attention to the conversions.
Yeah.
But people with that mentality, and they're going into the LLM world, I assume they would want to know the prompts for
Yeah.
those types of people. And on a similar reason, when it comes to clients, there are some that would want to know that. There are some that don't. And some
Yeah.
that don't, then it's fine. We just rely on our conversions and traffic coming from AI tools. And
Yeah.
then if they want to know, but what prompt it is, then it's almost, in my opinion, I'm just doing the exercise because the client wants to know. And I'll state my thoughts here, even though I am representing 8560 right now. My thoughts may not necessarily be the thoughts of the company.
Sure.
So just wanted to share that as well.
Sure.
And out of all of this, one thing that you also mentioned is the journey could jump from one channel to another.
Oh yeah.
So just looking at that and going back to the KPIs and how important they are, they're not that linear anymore. It also goes back to the multi-attribution tracking,
Yeah.
and just understanding that alone. And the moment you touch that, you start looking at other channels as well, not only AI and SEO. You start looking at all the paid media and everything, and just getting a better understanding of the journey of a customer, how they jump from channel to channel, from the device to device, and just see how much these channels contribute. Do they contribute in the introduction of your company, or do they contribute in closing the deal? And
Yeah.
that goes back into the funnel again. Some channels might be better top of funnel, some channels might be better at the bottom of the funnel. So
That's really good insight. So do you recommend, or do you think that we SEOs should become better marketers? Because a lot of SEOs are so stuck in their own
yeah.
foreclosed walls. I'm a
Yeah.
technical SEO, I'm a link builder. Should we just take a step back and just become better marketers in general? We don't have to run all the ads or all that stuff, but
Yeah.
understand it better. Is that something you would recommend?
I think, yes, I recommend that. Now, that question also sometimes deals with company workflow, how a company runs, and how, if it's done in house, who are the people involved. Knowing everything is definitely, the more you need to know, the more difficult it is to know everything. And
Yeah.
no one knows everything, which is why either you rely on teammates, you rely on your friends, you rely on outsource people, you rely on other employees, and everyone could specialize in different areas, even
Yeah.
though you're not an expert in something else. But at least you have a good understanding. And then you have the discussion and the meetings, how you could work collaboratively and
Yeah.
see how you're helping each other.
So that's a key, collaboration. That's a key word, right? You can't know everything, but you have to be, and I think you have to move collaboratively. And I think that is a problem that I see a lot of enterprises, especially the larger enterprises, where there are a lot of silos, and I think that's what we need to kind of figure out to solve. Another question that I had was that, okay, and you did mention this earlier, clients or bosses, stakeholders, how do you educate them just that, hey, SEO may start playing a different role in a customer funnel? It's not so much about immediate conversion. It's a bit now has a bigger impact. Is that something that you think it is a responsibility of us SEOs to evangelize, or is that something that, hey, if that person doesn't understand it, we're not going to work for them?
I think there is some responsibility of helping understand what we do in SEO. In most of my clients or I work with, it in the beginning there's lots of education. There's an education phase to it.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm delivering and giving to a client, it all starts with why am I doing this, why we're going in this direction, and it sets the tone for the rest of it, for the rest
Yeah.
of the whole deal. It also sets the expectation and what's coming. I could understand in the beginning there might be some people that are against some of the things that we may say, or they believe they're stuck in some old ways, and we have to educate them, and some of them may not believe what you say right away because they're so passionate in what they believe in. And
Yeah.
I still believe you could get through them with the proper, with data, with case studies, with results, with online consensus, with surveys, and everything that you could show to help convince, I would say, people that think that these new ways are not the best way to go. And once you do convince them, then it becomes smoother moving forward.
Another strategy is sending him Uber Eats.
That works well.
Yeah, and then like lunchtime, if food shows up by the door,
Uh,
yeah, that's cool, and that's a really good insight. So let's just take a step back about the whole career of SEO experts. Is that the career still worth pursuing for newcomers? You and I have been in it for over 2 decades now. But
Yeah.
what about newcomers? Is this something you would recommend? Let's say if your kid was graduating college and wants to become an SEO expert, following the footsteps of daddy, would you recommend it to him or her, or no?
First is, I think it is still something that newcomers could still pursue. However, how SEO is defined today could be different on how SEO is defined tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when people say, is it still something nice to go into? That is also a question of how SEO will change, because the people that join today and start doing SEO, most likely their practices will be different. And the people that have this fear of saying not joining anymore because it's different are the ones that also fear the change of what SEO will do.
Yeah.
But if you embrace the change and adopt to it, then it doesn't matter what phase in SEO you join, because I
Yeah.
don't think it's going to disappear. It's just going to change. The fact that you need to search for something, whether it's in a search engine or in an LLM, which are getting so many acronyms from
Yeah, it's getting out of control.
all of these, I just look at it all as SEO. In fact,
Yeah.
I like using the search everywhere optimization.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I call it decentralized search engine
Uh-huh.
optimization, but search everywhere works too. I
Mhm.
also call it AI forward SEO. I just don't like the term GEO because it's or AEO. It's just so
Yeah.
lame. And it's actually, after I took these courses I went back to school this summer I like to learn things academically. And I have a computer science undergrad degree, and I had taken the intro to AI many years ago. So when I took some introduction to AI courses this summer, like LLMs are essentially narrow AI. So it might, as AI widens, it might be something else. It might not be called LLMs anymore. So I would be cautious about the word LLM because you never know what the future they're going to be called. So
Yeah.
I think SEO is, and the search optimization is a great one. Let's go back to strategies and tactics. Technical SEO.
Okay.
Do you think is that still, which obviously considering AI and everything, is it still important, and how important it is? Things like site architecture, HTTPS, core web
Yeah.
vitals, JavaScript is SEO, duplicated content, although
Yeah.
that's probably content, yeah.
Yeah. So I still consider it important. However, how much of this work will happen differs from company to company.
Yeah,
And the common thing that I'm seeing is the smaller the company, most likely they're going to use common off the shelf CMSs that everyone already uses. There's going to be a lot of
like
WordPress,
WordPress, yeah, Shopify, yeah.
Drupal, Shopify, some Magento, and then almost there's a plugin for almost everything, whether
Yeah,
it's plugin, a module, an add-on, an extension. Different CMSs call it different things, but they're all the same thing.
yeah,
And they already solve a lot of problems. And there's a lot of themes that are very customizable. There are like theme builders that are very SEO friendly already,
yeah,
to the point where it solves a lot of the technical issues the company gets. Most likely they're running their own CMS. They're running their
yeah,
own platform, they built everything from scratch. And then technical becomes even more important there because you have to give the guidance on each and everything and how it
Yeah.
runs. So is it important? Yes, it's important. How involved are you? It depends on the platform and how it's built. And that's basically my answer.
Cool. And I agree with that 100%. Technical SEO is still going to matter, but like you said, a lot of especially smaller ones they use sites like WordPress and other ones that are SEO friendly. The larger companies tend to, especially e-commerce, tend to have a lot of technical SEO issues. So I would definitely prioritize technical SEO. So let's talk about content. Content SEO, for a long time, it was a long content, 500 words or more, 1,000 words for blogs, keywords everywhere, hyper optimized. That was unique, no duplication. That was considered a quality content in the world of SEOs. That's no longer the case, or is it still? And how should our content strategies evolve going forward?
Yeah, that is a great question. And the funny thing is, whenever you ask any representative from Google that same question, of course, they're going to say, write quality content, right?
Yeah, they never tell you what quality is. Yeah.
And they'll say natural. What is natural?
What is natural?
Yeah. Now, one thing I do as a study, and this was done by the old company Searchmetrics, which I think they were.
I remember Searchmetrics. Yeah,
they were purchased by Conductor, but
yeah,
the fact that they had lots of clients, they could aggregate the data and could show a collection of observations. And one thing I got from that, from one of their studies they released in the past, and this was even pre-AI, but RankBrain already existed, was many of the things that you're looking at, from number of keywords, number of backlinks, number of whatever, keyword density, all of these things that you could look at, they differed from industry to industry based on that study. There were some industries where high keyword density, mentioning things over and over were fine. I think it was the auto parts was one example where things are so redundant, words happen over and over. And then in another industry, that's not the case.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, if that's how search engines are looking at things, which makes sense, because if they notice that in a certain industry, they tend to say words over and over, then that's their normal. And in other industries, it's not normal.
So different benchmarks for different industries.
Yeah.
I could see that happening in e-commerce a lot, because they're going to have, let's say, thousands of the same products. Naturally, the same keyword is going to keep repeating. Yeah,
exactly. So if Google is going to do something like any statistical analysis, I think it's just finding outliers where you are outside of the normal. So you are not normal. And if you're outside of the normal, maybe you're doing something fishy. Then that's when you could see, hey, you're doing too much or too little. So in terms of content, how long is too long? How much is too much? I would just normally look at the top 10 just to see what Google believes should be and stay within those ranges.
Cool. And what I've noticed that LLMs search is all over the place, and I'm on the same page with you. You should optimize for them, but you should not get obsessed, because I used to I search myself top SEO experts in Orange County. Sometimes I show up, sometimes I don't show up.
Yeah.
And then I ask Perplexity, what makes you rank, and how come I'm not here? You're in top 15 or whatever. I literally have a conversation with Perplexity. It's just because I'm not on two directories. One is, I think it's this agency finder directories. So LLMs, they go based on citations and things like that. And it's very noisy out there. I do recommend that SEOs continuing following best practices, right? And not so much get obsessed about LLMs, because if you really know how AI works, is that it's a statistical answer. It basically gives you answer based on statistical probability, and it will change every day. It will change every hour, most likely. And I would just say, like you said earlier, it's like a stock market. You want to see things going up, but you don't want to get obsessed about those bumps. But let's talk about off-page SEO. Okay. Considering AI, backlinks are going to be less of a thing. It's going to be more about digital noise. digital branding, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, the reason I didn't show up in the top SEO experts in Orange County is because I was not on Agency Finder, or I was not on this directory and that directory. Are we going back to that again? Like where we add all our stuff to a bunch of directories and we start pumping out a lot of guest posts, and or what? Or should we just continue doing what's right for your brand?
Yeah, that is a great question, because so far, I think where the AI tools are going these days is there are ways to game them right now.
Yeah, we can inject prompts. Yeah.
And spammy stuff are somewhat effective. But if you do them, though, then you'll get in trouble with the search side of things.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, how could I increase my visibility everywhere, but still be okay with SEO so my SEO doesn't get hurt?
Yeah.
I still see the guest posting still working as long as it's in the right places and done properly and not spammy.
Yeah.
I could see PR work increasing, press releases and increasing those.
Yeah.
Plain good old marketing, whatever marketing plan you could come up with, and working together with social teams to spread the news and everything, getting more people talking about stuff and just going in multiple places in any way, whether there's a link or no link. I think it will help out in the AI world. However, if you're doing SEO at the same time, then might as well try to sneak in a link or two.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
these ways, how you're trying to get more mentions in multiple places. Getting things naturally is always a challenge. You really have to come up with great content and try to promote it to get natural links, which is why I'm seeing there might be some SEO groups out there that might focus on the press release side of things, because it tends to become easier. You come up with some great press release and gets more promotion, and then the more mentions you have, then they typically do well in the AI world.
Yeah, good stuff. I write for Forbes Business Council, and I don't do it for SEO. That's if I do get an SEO benefits, it's one of the a good side effects. But I just noticed that because I've been writing for them for a while, I just saw in my SEMrush said, "Oh, you lost a lot of backlinks," and I freaked out. I'm like, "Wait, what happened?"
Yeah.
And then when I did a little bit of investigation, I didn't lose the backlinks. Just Forbes decided to add no follow to them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And again, I wasn't doing it for sake of SEO, and I just think that part of the SEO, if you're doing it for yourself or for your little side project or for your own business, is pretty possible, but it's not scalable for a big brand.
Yeah.
Or when you work with multiple clients, and it's pretty unstable. And it's not link building hasn't been a strategy that I've been following recently years for clients. And I advise most of my clients I'm like, hey, let me work with your PR team to groom them. Like you said, since they're doing the outreach anyways, also ask for a link, not just a brand mention. And I think that is probably a better time spent for an SEO expert. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. So normally whenever I look at SEO, I look at it in various phases, and which is basically others call it the pillars of SEO and things like that. There's the technical, there's the content, and there's the off page. And whenever we go off page, it has been changing over the years, but I still believe in the plan of first is coming up with great content, whatever you could share, marketing, whether it's a blog post, but always try to look for the next level thing. Whether it's a video, an infographic, a quiz, a interactive thing, a game or something. And then from there, it's all about promotion. Just promote it so more people see it. And when more people see it, then most likely you'll get some natural links along the way. Now, if you don't come up with something great and you just promote it, then of course it looks promotional. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to link to it. So it's really coming up with these ideas. But a good thing you mentioned is about scalability. How you scale that? Because that sounds time consuming and things. But
it may not happen. If you want a backlink from a reputable website, they may never respond to you.
Yeah, true. I don't think it's going to be something that is knocked out quickly unless that is your focus of your whole agency. You're totally like an agency all about coming up with content, tries to be viral in a way.
The viral content thing, that's actually pretty powerful. And I think one thing I want to say about social SEO, I think SEO people need to start looking at social media again, because in the past Google didn't look at social media as a ranking factor, but now I see more and more social media stuff impacting both traditional SEO, but also the modern post AI SEO.
Yeah.
And like, for example, when I search my name in Perplexity, because I post on LinkedIn a couple times a week, it shows up. It actually says hi. If you say who's Al Sefati, it's very close to how I wanted to present me.
Yeah.
Just because that's how I'm positioning myself. So I think going back to omni-channel, but yeah, I just don't want to see I just don't want to go back to a world where we have to keep adding ourselves to a bunch of directories that no one's ever going to go to.
Yeah.
When we used to do in the back SEO days, and it was a pretty good strategy at the time. And I remember I was in the pay-to-loan industry for a couple of years after I left Interactive where you and I worked. And I got that industry. It was like world of black hat. I learned so many different black hat things that it was just like crazy. And our old buddy Matt Cox always used us as an example. For example, pay-to-loan. No one wants to link to a pay-to-loan website because no one is happy. But then, cool. All right. So we talked about a lot of stuff. Is there anything else you can talk about in the world of on the topic of SEO that you didn't cover?
As for topics, nothing popped into my head. But the moment you said Matt Cutts, the funny thing is, the first time I met him in person, I was somewhat nervous because I said, if he knows me, the next thing I'm gonna check is, does he know me for a good thing or does he know me for a bad thing? But fortunately, the first time I met him, he looks like he didn't know me. So I felt, okay, he didn't see my bad stuff.
Yeah, I met him the first time 2009 in SMX Advanced in Seattle. And he automatically, when I asked him a question, he's, oh yeah, just go clean up your backlinks. Because one of our sites had got dinged, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like he knew that SEO was just at the time there's a lot of questionable stuff. And look, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. I have worked on Google projects through another agency. They don't necessarily follow the best practices themselves. I've seen it for myself. They do a lot of weird stuff, and it's just that they have to have a set of a protocol in place for people to follow, and that's why more seasoned SEO people like you and I take their advice with a grain of salt, because it's just we've been in the field for so long. We see the data firsthand. Very cool. Yeah, do you follow John Mueller at all? I never got into following that guy, a couple times only.
I don't follow him religiously, but if something popular he says and then everyone talks about it, then sure, I'll see it. Funny thing is, most of the interactions where I've seen him reply to what I posted was on the newer social media. Like it was Mastodon. He was replying to me on Mastodon. But yeah, I don't follow religiously.
I just follow Barry Schwartz. He's my kind of guy. He's very concise, to the point, and like he's a guy I follow. Love him. I even had him here on podcast, so it was really cool.
I like Barry because he summarizes everything. He listens to everyone. He's monitoring the posts of every forum, everything out there. And then he doesn't even offer SEO as a service. He's a web developer, but he's a SEO thought leader. Really good guy. I'm really happy to have someone like him in the industry. Definitely good stuff. Very cool. All right, let's wrap this up by asking you a couple of, first of all, where can people find you, and can they ask you for help, SEO help, if they have, or are you pretty much bound to your agency? Yeah, 8560, that is who I work for. That is most of all my SEO work goes to. In some cases, you work for an agency, you work for larger clients, they won't accept anything small. Sometimes when it's too small for an agency, I might take things on the side. I don't do too much of it just because of the time and everything. Sometimes I might even decline them in some cases. But for any company out there that's interested, then 8560 is primarily where I work. Most of the clients of our agency, there we have lots of action sports, lots of hospitality, so different types of hotels, resorts, and things like that.
Cool.
And then lots of e-commerce as well. But in general, we would accept anything anyway.
Yeah. They're based in San Diego, right?
Yeah, San Diego.
Cool.
And
Love
we have
San Diego.
in Denver as well. So
Denver, huh? Cool. Yeah. Love San Diego, where you and I met. Very cool. So let me conclude this interview with a couple of personal questions.
Okay.
To see what Benji is outside work. So obviously you're a family man, right? You live in San Diego. What are some of your hobbies when you're not working? What are some of the things you like to do?
That is a good question, because as I get older, some of those hobbies disappear. I always like BMX.
I'm like sleeping.
That's right.
8 hours of sleep. Is that a good hobby?
Yeah, it's something good to do. And when I was younger, I was really a BMX person, and then I got into different martial arts. But as you get older, oh my God, it's so hard. So many painful things in my body. But what turns somewhat into a hobby, and after being a homeowner since I think 2018, home repair starts to become something interesting.
Yeah.
Anything that's broken, there's a YouTube video for it. So I've tried plumbing work. I replaced drywall and even car repair as well, changing parts and things like that. And if you just compare labor costs to get things done, and
oh my God, labor costs are out of control. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not. And I told my handyman, where did you go to school? How did you learn on this? He said, YouTube. I'm like, oh, so I can do the same.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, good stuff. So home repair, cool. All right. Any favorite food or cuisine?
Since I'm a Filipino, I eat lots of Filipino food. But if ever I don't eat Filipino food, I still love steaks in general.
Yeah, the steaks are good. I'm Persian, so I'm inclined to say Persian food, but you can never go wrong with steaks or carne asada tacos, right? And I guess the last question is a little bit different. It's somewhat unique. If you could be a superhero from a movie or from a comic book, which superhero would you be?
That is a good question. First is I know who my favorite superhero is, which is my favorite since I was a kid, just reading comics even before the movies. I like Spider-Man a lot.
Yeah.
But if I would be a superhero, I don't really care. I'll go with Spider-Man still.
Spider-Man it is. Cool. Yeah. Awesome. All right, Benj. It was good that we connected, and I hope we run into each other at one of these conferences. By the way, are you speaking at any of the upcoming conferences or no?
I have nothing scheduled yet. Let's see. I'm late in pitching some of them, but I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'll be in PPC Hero in San Diego. Is it next month? Yeah, next month. So I'll be talking about actually integration, SEO and SEM. So if you can go, that'd be great. We can at least hang out, grab some food or coffee or something.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see.
All right. Thanks. It was great having you. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Have a nice weekend.
You too. Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.